What's going on, people? Hustle and Heartbeat is back, and we got some guests. All right, so it's Kev, it's Megan, and then we got some family from. Well, y'all not from Virginia. Y'all
We're
from.
technically not from Virginia.
Yeah, so
we're Virginians by purchase.
Okay, so we got some guests from the Joint Venture podcast, and they gonna tell us all about themselves. It's a mashup.
Yeah.
I like to say that. Like, I feel like it's a mashup right now where they're going to ask some questions for their pod. We're going to ask some questions for our pod, and we're going to have some great visuals, great audio. So, yeah, man, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
So I'm Ambreia. This is my amazing husband of 15 years, Darren. We have a podcast together called the Joint Venture Podcast, and I am an entrepreneur, and he is the person that gets to ride on the back of my crazy jet ski of business ideas.
Does it feel like that? Like, for you? Like, does it feel like that for the both of y'all? Like,
for me, it don't necessarily feel like a crazy jet ski, but I'm a unbothered type of person.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
So I'm very much a go with the flow, adapt and overcome, adjust course and keep going. That's probably like the military inside of me. Where,
okay.
Yeah,
you're used to trying to, like, be...
Got to shift or whatever. So, I'm pretty much a go with the flow. Okay, we got to pivot. All right, cool. Let's do that then. It's not very crazy for me like that. So
I was going to say, I do feel like that's a cool analogy, though. Like, where... I feel like the entrepreneur spirit kind of has to be go with the flow, where somebody that is, somebody that has a traditional occupation, they might not not to say they're not built for it, but it's just like that's not what they wake up like ready to do. They're like, I'm like setting this thing, and then it's like, dang, my partner got me going to Maryland. I was just at the church last night. So like, I that's why I was saying, like, the way she described it, like, man, do you like feel like that? Because we are both entrepreneurs at this point, but I kind of feel like I kicked it off, and she was just like, oh, like, yeah, this is what we do.
This is what we do, exactly.
Do you think you kicked it off?
The freedom and the belief, I think I kicked that off. Now, putting stuff in place, I probably didn't kick off.
I guess I was like, I never thought about where we started.
That's why it's complementary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely think that, both couples are equally yoked, right? In that my brain will freak out sometimes. And he has to come in here and be like, look, it's really not that bad. If you look at this, this, and this, then these things are the wins. So how can we take those wins and, like, shift the perspective? To your point, Kevin, entrepreneurship is a whole different mindset. And so because of the fact that, we have to be so fearless, we have to, like, bank on the fact that freedom is what I want, you have to kind of get your partner on board with the mindset that comes with being a entrepreneur.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I was saying I might have kicked it off, because she was in her, like, career job, and, like, while I had a job, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do this forever. Like, the job that I was, like, in, I was just like, I don't think I'm built for, like, the same job for 20, 30 years. And then just when opportunities arose, she was like, hey, I think I'm gonna try this. And I'm kind of like, I don't like what I'm doing anyway. So let's see what
all you got to do is say the word.
Yeah. So I had a cool little question. Let's see. So you want to go into how you met?
We can go into that.
And what made you realize that you could build a life together?
That's a great question.
That is a really good question. You can start off, because I always start it off, because my side of the story of how we met, I guess, is kind of funny, but I'm gonna let her tell.
Okay,
from her
so forget how we
perspective
actually started. How we actually met. So, long story short, because it was almost 20 years ago, we were actually coworkers.
Yep.
And the beautiful thing about us, starting off without the intentions of dating was there was no need to put on airs, no need to impress each other. We weren't lying and capping and inflating, things like, I knew how much you made because I make the same thing. That because of the fact that we were able to like really get to know each other, we worked long shifts, 12-hour shifts,
12-hour shifts,
3 days a week. And, we were in college, and because of that, we had a chance to really build rapport without the pressure of like, oh my God, we trying to date. So he pursued me. And how did that pursuit go, honey?
I mean, obviously it was successful because we're
here.
You know what I'm saying? We here. So obviously, I did a decent job, I guess I could say, if you still sitting next to me.
I love you.
But yes, I did pursue her. This was almost 20, about 18 years ago, and maybe within the first couple days of us at the workplace that I saw her walk by and inquired about who she was, and again we just kind of got cool. We ended up actually working at the same station because we were on the same line in the place, and we worked at the same workstation. So 3 days a week, 12 hours a day, you have nothing but time to talk. So we got a chance to really get to know each other. And again, this is 18 years ago, so this is 20-year-old Darren. And my mindset was like, I wasn't even pursuing a serious relationship. Like that was supposed to, what the kids say now, like, it's probably not even popular now, but like that's supposed to be like my hot boy summer. The first apartment I ever had, I think I had finally had like my own car, because me and two of my friends, we were able to get an apartment together, like, and we were supposed to have, a starting 5 and a 6-man. That was our mindset.
We see how that worked out for you.
So yeah, and when I met her, those plans changed quickly because it went from like, who I want to do this, and then we got to know each other, and I'm like, yo, like, this is a woman that I want to actually be with. And then when we got together and I saw how she was, she came to the relationship with the child. She already had our oldest daughter, and I saw what type of mother she was, and just the responsibility and everything, and just saw that this is someone that I could actually build. It didn't take me long to realize that she was like my future as far as partnership is concerned. So
so I was gonna say, like, all right, so y'all meet, y'all didn't really say how y'all met, but y'all did say that y'all were working together. So from there, what was for you like, hold up, we can build something, like this is more than just.
I will say that learning more about who he was not from my city. So I'm from Huntsville. He was from Mobile. I like to say that God imported my husband, because the guys that were around me in that city, I was like, ooh, I could never. Not from a perspective of there isn't a variety of people to choose from, but more so the maturity. So I felt like he demonstrated maturity. He demonstrated compassion. He demonstrated integrity. He demonstrated, that he wanted, something out of life, that he was in pursuit of something for his own, future. And getting to know him and kind of like learning his background and how much he loved his family, and things like that, those were values that I felt like, meshed well with my values. I come from a big family. We're both the oldest kids, so we know what it's like to take care of others. And so those are some of the things that played into, his character. And to be honest, we're keeping it 100% real. Because I had my daughter, I also had a baby daddy. And so for somebody to be able to kind of ride those bumps and waves when there's a little bit of drama
Yeah.
that is coming along with that as you guys are maturing. You know what I mean?
Right.
At the time, I want to say I was like 18 going on 19. So you can imagine the, maturity level and the type of crap
Crazy.
that was going on.
Yeah.
Definitely was crazy.
It was definitely craziness. But, I think he saw my drive. I would take my daughter to class with me if I had to. I was getting up in the mornings, making sure she had breakfast and lunch, and taking her to school, then going to school myself, leaving school, going to work, leaving work, picking her up, putting her in bed. And so I was a full adult. I did not have no hot girl summer. And so because of the way that life was unfolding for me, it was very necessary for anybody that came into my life to quickly make a decision about, are you in or are you out?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we know a little something about that life.
Come on,
Yeah.
tell it, because I want to know. What is the tea?
So we met in middle school.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we met in middle school. We our homeroom, we had the same homeroom.
Still have the yearbook he signed.
Oh,
That's what's up. Yeah.
And we didn't go to the same high school. She went to college. I was up there at a college, but
listen, because that's
yeah.
where the girls are.
And so like I went into like a network marketing type thing where it's like, hey, you got to recruit. You gotta find people. You gotta build your team up and stuff like that. And so me coming into I wasn't looking for a relationship like you said, but having a child, I'm like, man, I got this kid. I'm trying to build, like, I don't want to be in a warehouse. Like, that's really all I was doing. So I'm taking the chance on, the network marketing. And, you scroll through Facebook and, you looking for.
the good old
Yeah,
days.
you trying to find people. And so I was, like, trying to build, like, my network or whatever. And I don't know, like, I reached out, hey, long time no see, because we hadn't really seen each other like since middle school.
Wow.
So I feel like she had to be somewhat skeptical of like, hey, I ain't heard from him in a minute. Now I don't know what it looks like from the standpoint of like person with a child, like, and I don't know, like you probably have to give your.
I don't think
side
I
of
dug
things,
that
like-
deep. So I had just got out of like the poster child of a bad, toxic, abusive relationship. So my brain was on anything except we're not
relationship.
doing relationship. Like,
Right.
I did that, it doesn't work out good. So he had reached out and then it was like, okay, even though we haven't seen each other, it's like we knew each other in middle school, so it's more comforting than a stranger.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I liked him in middle school. So, he
Yeah.
wants to tell me about his business. Okay, I'll pretend to listen. Like, and we'll do
Yeah.
something after. And I went, I pretended to listen. And then I was like, hey, I live downtown. Like,
You forgot to tell him you tried to back out on me.
oh, he,
She tried to renege.
no, it was worse.
That slipped her mind.
It was worse than that. So it's like in White Mars. So there's a Barnes and Noble, all windows, because it's on like their avenue. So I'm like walking by, I'm like, there he is. No, I'm not going in. So I go to walk back to my car.
And
Here he
sees you.
comes out the door, like, hey, like we're in here. I'm like,
God.
okay, I'm going in here. I did leave that part out. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, but yeah, I tried to leave, and he
But
ran
yeah,
out to
I
stop me.
mean, we hung out. Like I've seen things that, like, man, this is. I've had stuff I don't want.
Right.
Like I'm seeing stuff that like seem cool now. Like I'm big into video games. She had switch, not a switch. I'm about to date myself.
Here we
She
go.
had a PlayStation 3. She had an Xbox. She had a Wii, and we just like bouncing back and forth between games, like, and I'm like, like, girls play video games, like
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure that was
like this is
big
cool.
green flag.
And then just from there, she cared for my son. Like, it's hard to find someone, I mean, even like family, like that is going to care for you and this person that you got to bring everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it was like, man, if I see someone that is a role model for my sisters, like I'm the oldest of 5, so I got younger sisters. I wanted them to see someone that had education, that
Right.
just cared about certain things, and I mean, she came with some perks, like
Hey.
had a whip,
Yeah.
multiple, like condo, like, so it was just like, man, I can add to this, like
Yes. I don't have to build this by myself.
I mean, I
This
didn't
person
have
is-
anything. Like, so
You
it was
saw what you
like,
could
yeah. It
because
was just
somebody
kind of like,
could.
yeah, like, man, we can build because I have some kind of ambition,
Mm-hmm.
and she has whatever structure and discipline
Yeah.
that has allowed her to get
She
to
has
this
the
point.
ability to produce
Yeah.
already.
That was kind of, that to answer your question from my perspective, we for the old church folk, we shacked. we lived
Listen,
together.
economics.
We lived
Yep.
we lived together before we got married, and the very first spot that we lived in. So this is after we had met, and we probably had been dating for a little while.
Not a
Me and
little
my
while.
friends ended up moving from the apartment that we was at on like the good side of town because the situation that transpired for us to get that apartment,
Yeah.
the lease was over, and then so we ended up moving like to another part of town that wasn't so great. And we were in like a townhome style apartment, but it was smaller than what we were at, and it was a 3-bedroom. I had the smallest room, and then we got serious, and her and Aaliyah actually moved in, and I
Yeah,
had the
my lease
smallest
was up.
room.
Okay.
So my lease
So
ended, and
we were basically, I don't want to call it a prison cell, but it was a very small room.
I mean, you gotta start somewhere,
It was a
like,
very small room, and we slept on like a twin bed.
Me and
We
her,
shared
yeah.
a twin bed, like one of those twin dorm beds. And then our oldest daughter, her playpen
Was her
doubled
bed at
as
the
her
time.
bed, and that's like where we started. And to quote,
Start from the bottom.
Yeah, started from the bottom, or even you want to say, she wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Like, this woman was helping me,
Period.
craft my jump shot, and like for her to be with me during that time,
yeah.
just showed me that she actually liked me
Mm-hmm.
for real. Because what woman
Nah.
with a child, you know what I mean, would say, I know I have family, I know I have other friends, I could probably stay in a more comfortable situation, but I'ma stick with this guy right here, and we had that situation. So at that point, that's when I really knew, like, oh, like, this is probably something that is gonna last. And even just reflecting, starting in that room to like where we are now, 18 some odd years later, it's pretty dope to reflect on and just see, like you were talking about, something you can build and
Progression.
see every single block, like the next step and the next step and the next step. So even now, currently, I know that she with me for me, not for anything that I can provide for her. If we lost everything today, like legit, I know she would be like, well, we did it before, so
Bit it back
we can
together.
do it again. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, just like a woman without a child,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
To come
to
into the
deal with
situation,
like
Yeah.
someone with a child,
She
and
was there for you.
Yeah. So no, we can relate.
Yeah.
So all right, what was your first impression of each other's career paths?
I think at the time, his career goal was to be an electrical engineer.
Okay.
And so that was his major in school. I was like, oh, he's smart. My first compliment to him was actually, you have a very extensive vocabulary.
Never heard that before. That was the first time anybody ever said that to me. So I was like, okay.
No, he was like, oh, she's smart. But I wanted an intelligent partner. I wanted a partner that, had an outlook for, career potential and made that decision on their own. That wasn't the career path that he ended up taking. In fact, when we were in undergrad, he actually left A&M to go into the Navy and pursue a career that way. And he was able to, score really high on the ASVAB, become an IT, serve for 12 years, and then circle back and finish his degree. So, shout out to you, babe.
All right, so you for the entrepreneurship lane.
Well, I would say when we first met, I know that she was in school and she did production and
Yes, television and film
television
production.
and film production.
Okay.
That was her major. So from the jump, I knew she was a creative and she had aspirations of like making shows and stuff like that. She,
Love creative
had
writing.
a full script written out for like a show that she wanted to put in syndication and things like that. So I mean, I was cool as long as she had some type of ambition. I wasn't really, who am I to say like, nah, I don't think you should do that. As long as she was passionate about it, that was cool with me. She eventually pivoted, kind of like I did, and she ended up going into like retail, and I think that experience is what was kind of the catalyst of her really wanting to kind of like jump off the porch per se to go into entrepreneurship, because she worked for everybody's favorite suburban bougie brand, Target. She was an executive team lead, because she had the degree, so she was making great money. But the hours, man, if any of y'all have ever worked at Target before, they will know. Any of your listeners or viewers, like Target they got good benefits and they pay well, but they get their money's worth out of you. I'll just say that.
Demanding.
So,
Yeah.
it was. I think she was enjoying what she was doing, but it was just frustrating to her that she was missing so many things.
Man.
And at the same time, her desire, her creativity, that side started to show again, where she was doing like photography just kind of on the side. One of her friends would be like, hey, I need a second shooter for a wedding, or what, and that started to build, and we started to have real conversations about, hey, what would it look like if I quit my job at Target and pursued this full time? And I was always behind it. The finances wasn't really like a big deal for me. For me, what was most important was to see her like flourish and be happy and thriving in whatever she did. So Target's not doing that for you anymore, and you want to do photography full time, like what would it take? And that was kind of like the ultimate question that sparked her entrepreneur journey. We had just had Emory, right? Yeah, we had just had our third child, and this is maybe you might have still been right after the birth, and I pretty much asked her like, hey,
pivots.
yeah, I was like, hey, I pretty much asked her like, hey, what would it take? What would it take for you to fully quit?
Okay.
And start your business?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was kind of the launch pad of her, starting her photography business and going on towards that. And I was always 100% behind it, because I knew I could get a job, I could be the steady income, and just allow her to build and do everything. And again, my main concern was to see her happy and thriving and flourishing, because it gets old, seeing her come home and not in a good mood, or the stress of work still on her, upset because she's missing holidays, because retail is crazy busy. All you get is Christmas Day, and then you right back the next day. Thanksgiving, all you get is that day. Then you got to go in crazy early for Black Friday, and just how it was running her. So, yeah, I was never against her being an entrepreneur. Never had any reservations or we shouldn't do this because of whatever. I was again just roll with the punches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even for him to have always typically like such a logical mindset, I had doubts about pursuing prior to that moment, because I'm the budget person. I'm
Yeah.
the, numbers person. I'm like, one of us can pursue a passion and the other one got to pursue a paycheck, okay? But that moment was so freeing
Okay.
for me because it was the permission that I needed. It was that boost that I needed to say, I got your back.
Yeah.
We can figure the rest out,
Yep.
but go try.
Yeah.
Go try. And I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know I can do it. So, I was actually still pregnant. I was on bed rest. I
She
had to be
was,
on
that's
bed
right,
rest
yeah.
for 5.5 weeks with Emory. Torture. But I got to work researching. I already had, a camera. I was like, okay, we're going to bootstrap this and I'm going to build a brand. And I already have a little name picked out. And I kind of
Okay.
already had
Was
some
kind of
sparks,
moving in a direction. Yeah.
but definitely needed that permission. And it's funny because that happened even after God confirmed it for me. During my pregnancy, I had shifted away from Target, but I did something else in between. I sold insurance. And on my way to work one day, God was like on me. And I heard the Holy Spirit say, so you will work this straight commission job, but you won't start the business I told you to start. And I was like, dang.
You have to say it like that.
Stung me.
Yeah.
Whooped my tail. And I was like, golly. Okay, now I feel like this is a warning that this door is going to close. I still went to work that day, but I knew
Yeah. From
that it was
there,
a
you
wrap.
had to, you
It
had
was
to
a
make a
wrap.
move.
I was going to have to make a move. And so, less than 3 months later, that business was
Okay.
out the gate.
All right. Well, it's nice to have that support, like to know that, man, I can go pursue something, and we
It was
still
a
have some
relief.
stability there. All right. So, describe each other in one word as a spouse and as a professional.
Ladies first.
Reliable.
Okay.
That's, career
Yeah.
and, as a spouse.
So many words. I'm trying to find the best one.
Oh, Lord, don't be funny.
Well, I was feeling like you could have one word for the
each.
spouse aspect
Okay, I
and
thought-
one word for
listen,
the
okay.
professional aspect.
I think both. I think that applies to both, and I'm keeping it real buttoned up.
You're silly.
Should I give? I guess I'll give my spouse
give
word
your spouse word.
because reliable is definitely on the professional front.
That's a tough question.
That's
throw out there.
That's a really good question, bro.
I was like,
You really do gotta think about that.
Heart.
Okay.
Heart.
I would say
This guy's
for
my heart.
professionally, creative, because she, in my opinion, she's the best at what she does in DMV, like straight up. No disrespect to any other photographers out there, but this is the best one right here. So I'll say creative for professionally, and as a spouse, I would say, I mean, I don't want to take her word, but I would say reliable, but it's so, I don't want to take up too much time, like going in the depths of it, because, when I say reliable, just as a mom, she's the constant, to keep the kids on task and make sure that, things are going how they're supposed to do when it comes to just the family schedule, period. Like, she's the one that kind of, that drives it and makes sure everybody's good within our marriage. You know, she's just reliable and that constant of there. So it's just, yeah, man. I know I can depend on her. Like, with anything. She's never, you know, disappointed me when it came to, you know, the roles, I guess you could say, that she plays within the context of our lives, whether it's, you know, wife or mother. It's never been a disappointment. It's never been a time where I was like legit like, dang, like she's not on her job or whatever the case.
Right? Yeah. Glad we don't gotta answer that.
That's a good.
Keep going.
That's a good question, man.
Nah, so if I had to answer, I would say tough. And the reason why I say tough, and this is in both, because like sometimes it's like nice to have like a pit bull in your corner.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
And I've had
together.
some situations where it's like, oh, she'll bark on somebody for me. Like she'll like
Yeah.
it's
Look at his face.
This one too.
and tough on me.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Definitely.
But there's times where we need somebody that's gonna be tough on the kids.
Yeah.
We need somebody that's willing to do the tough stuff. That's getting up at 5 a.m, hitting the gym. I mean, just going to the gym. Like we was on the Stairmaster yesterday. We did 30 minutes of cardio. Like the stuff that she does isn't necessarily easy. Like a lot of stuff that she does is tough. So it was either tough or hero. Like those were like my words, and they can be put in there like
both,
professionally or as a spouse. Because professionally, she saves a lot of people. Like, and no credit given. Like it's just like really low
That's who
key.
she is.
Like it's behind the scenes. So yeah, like those would be like if I had to choose a word, and they're interchangeable. Like for
I feel that.
you know.
I feel that. I love that.
My word would be calm.
You know, you gotta have a storm and you gotta have
He like comes in like, hey, it's okay. You can calm down. Like, and it's just that like the piece of, oh, everything doesn't have to go A, B, C, D. Like if it's a little off, like bring it down a little bit. Like it's not that big of a deal. So I think calm, because I am like go, and it should be this straight route. And if it bumps off the route, then it's like a panic where it's like he's kind of like, okay, we're back here. Like,
Yeah.
and like no care. Where I'm like,
Don't you feel good that you're not alone?
Well, and now and having the conversation, it feels like it's needed. Like where
It's a
you guys are
balance.
saying like similar stuff to us, and it's like, dang, well, I guess somebody has to be that, and somebody has to be this, and some way y'all just like kind of keep
It's the yin and
interlocking
yang,
and growing.
for sure.
So yeah, that's dope. All right, so how do you communicate when one person is feeling overwhelmed or misunderstood?
I think for me,
questions.
I have learned over the course that sometimes, as far as when you talk about communication, just listen. Sometimes you just need to listen. Like, and I think as men, especially because of the way that we're wired and we're created, whenever we hear our wife or even friends or anything, but we're talking about wives, like, I don't want to say complain or have issues or, we go immediately into problem solving mode. And we're trying to fix whatever it is that you say is wrong, whether it's like overwhelm or something like that. And I have learned that a lot of times, when she is coming to me about things, she doesn't want to hear, me
The
5 minutes
solution.
later, like, hey, this is what we need, this is what we need to do. Sometimes it's just like, yo, just be quiet and listen and let me get whatever off my chest. Now I can breathe in woosah. And then the problem solving aspect of it can now be more of a collaboration to where it doesn't feel like I, as her man, have to fix the problem for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think when we communicate, just from my side, whenever she does have, overwhelmed for if she's having issues with her business, or she's having issues with like one of the kids or something like that. My first instinct is to just not say anything. Like I just let her talk. Just let her talk, and I'm, and acknowledge her feelings, so she's not feeling like, yo, am I crazy for feeling like this? Like, no, you're not. And then after the emotions and everything come down, then that's where you can be like, okay, so what can we do? Or sometimes I'd be like, hey, what can I do to make this situation more favorable? What do you need from me? What type of support do you need from me? And then we kind of go from there. So it's always pretty supportive, just kind of actively listening, and really trying to hear her heart, and like try to get to the actual root of the problem, instead of trying to go straight into, oh, well, we need to do this and we need to do this, because that could be frustrating,
I will also say that he processes things inward. I don't. I have to talk about things. I have to process outward. So whether I feel like I can fix it or not, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
I have to. But because he processes inward, my concern is usually that when he's overwhelmed, he may not express it. So I have to try and pull it out of him, or ask him, or get curious. Babe, what do you think about this? How does that make you feel? Do you think that we should do this, this, and this? Or, are you still thinking about it? You know what I mean? Because he doesn't always come back with like a instant answer or instant emotion or anything. So sometimes it's a one-way dump.
And I will say, for me, I think that she knows me well enough now to where I have certain telltale signs when I am getting to a point of like overwhelm, as far as maybe like a shift in my attitude or my disposition. I am a very patient person, like across the board. And when she can recognize that my patience is starting to wear thin, then she's like, okay, like that's when she'll pull me aside and be like, hey babe, like, are you feeling okay? I noticed that you were a little bit, short with one of the kids, like, you need a break, some, or,
I'm laughing.
You need a dadcation.
No, I'm laughing because like I can sense it, like after the fact. I'll be like, all right, that wasn't on them.
Yeah.
Like that was like displaced aggression. Like
Exactly.
it shouldn't have went there.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see where you coming from on there. All right, so
That's
Got
dope.
one more question?
one more question. All right, I'm gonna do one more and then we'll do like a quick fire. All right, so. All right, how do you define success individually and as a couple?
She actually asked me this question a lot. Like a lot. So
It's a very entrepreneurial question.
yeah.
I think the definition of success has definitely changed for me. I would say over the past year or so.
Okay.
It was never defined by money. It was always more so about comfort. Comfort, independence, freedom. This year I think if I have a garden that is, feeding my family, that's success.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to grow something with my hands. I think it's funny because I am now having to redefine what my goals are for my business, because I've attained them,
That's nice.
And so what does the next level look like for my business? And that might mean working less but making more, and teaching other people how to make money as a photographer. And so I have pursued the path of like education, and I'm, patiently pursuing that, but not necessarily waiting for someone else to give me an opportunity.
Okay.
So I'm creating a course, and I'm scared as crap to create it and to put it out there. But every time I'm with somebody like one on one and I'm like dropping gems on them or encouraging them or critiquing their pricing, I know that I'm adding value. And so that's what keeps me, going. From a family standpoint, again, like I just want to be able to help my kids reach their goals. I just want to live as close to debt free as possible. I don't care about a flex. I don't. I care about purpose. God gave me 4 words for the year, and I love this because I feel like I can apply them across my whole life. And they are creativity, joy, purpose, and connection. If I'm connecting with people, if I am, doing purposeful work, if I'm doing creative work, and that's even in our podcast, that's in photography, that's in, creating communities, those things are fulfilling and that will be success to me.
Okay.
What about you, babe?
So for me, it's professionally and within marriage. If you are thriving and fulfilled, you are successful. Because it looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
Like she was saying, everybody has different goals, aspirations, and things like that. But as long as you are thriving and successful, then thriving and fulfilled, then you are successful. That cannot be measured by your bank account, any material things that you can own, houses, cars, whatever the case may be. Thriving and successful business, you don't necessarily have to be making a lot of money, but you're doing something that you're passionate about, and then you're also helping someone or making a difference, right? Through whatever it is. In your marriage, the same thing. In family, if your wife is thriving and your kids are thriving, especially as husbands, that is a direct reflection of your leadership. What I want is for when people to see my wife and my children, for them to think like, man, I wonder who her husband is. Or I wonder, like, you know what I'm saying? Or like, man, you must have an amazing dad. That is success to me.
Yeah, I like that.
I feel like those are the things that will outlive you.
Right.
Money, cars, clothes, all those things like that, material things, whatever. But, the stuff that will live past you is the memories that people have of you, again, of being, living and thriving within what are you doing, and, how you make people feel, how you help someone, how you, may have poured into someone's life and made it better or changed their life just from an encouraging word or, whatever the case may be. So that's my version of success.
What about y'all? We're flipping it. What is success to you right now?
I think I don't. So you brought up like your words for the year. So my words for the year was selfish and impact. So realizing last year, like I had a lot of impact on a lower level with individual people, but I wasn't selfish enough to make sure I was okay. So by the end of the year, I wasn't in a good space. So I was like, I have to get selfish to increase my impact.
Yeah.
But I think success, like for me, it's like little things. So I know I had to go to a daycare. I didn't always enjoy my daycare growing up. So for my kids, it was like one of us, and I try to make it that I'm there every single day. When they're getting on the bus, I get to say goodbye. When they're getting off the bus, I'm there to say hello. Even like the oldest is a senior. I plan my gym around. I get home right before he gets, well, now he drives, but right before he leaves for school.
Yeah.
So they see me every single morning, every single afternoon. For me, that's success because I never had that.
I love that.
And I didn't miss it when I was younger. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I wish my parents were here. Like, no, I wish I was happy, like, doing my own thing. But it was like, for my kids, that's what I want. I don't want, if I have to miss a sporting event, it has to be a big purpose or it has to be for another kid.
Yeah.
And then I always okay it. So like one of our sons was in like a championship. He was in the playoffs. Well, me and Naomi had a play to go to. So I asked him, I said, hey, are you okay?
okay?
And he was like, yeah, I'm okay. Once he gave me the okay, then I knew which way I could
That's
go.
good, Megan.
So that is like my biggest thing. And then success is taking that and giving other children that same feeling. So that's why we're going into the schools. That's why I'm working on camps. That's why I'm doing different events where it's like there's parents who are in survival mode who cannot give that to their children. So the children grow up believing that that's life.
Adulthood, yeah.
And I'm like,
And that's
no,
parenting,
somebody
and
has
that's-
to
yeah.
just show them like, hey, it might be a little rough right now. Like mom's trying to figure out some things.
But there are people that love you.
Yeah.
And I love you.
So-
And I'm gonna give you a hug. And I'm gonna cheer you on.
So for me, that's my success.
I love that.
All right, good answer.
That resonates.
No, but no, like I like to tell people, like, man, our flexibility is the flex. Like being able to be active. Yeah, we do those kind of things. No, but I mean, I feel like us growing something together, like, is success. Like, seeing this thing through. Like, we got started on something a long time ago. You know, whether it's the kids, like we got a kid that's about to graduate,
Yes.
him working, I mean, when he was born, I didn't want him to be a statistic. Like, that was like
Right.
my big thing. Like, I
Yeah.
can't let him be a statistic. So like now where it's like, okay, he's captain of the basketball team, he's, principal's on the roll. Those are the things that, just, and not to say that we need things to brag on, but you do kind of feel like, how are we
wanted it,
measuring,
and it grew,
how are we
and it's
measuring our hard work?
flourishing.
Like, we
Yeah.
worked hard on this
Hard.
boy.
Yeah.
Like, and the younger two, we feel like they may not be the same kind of work, but they're still, one has emotions, one has like no emotion. So it's being able
relate,
to
we relate.
being able to be there. And I mean, you spoke on being as close to debt free as possible. I do feel like getting to that point where you are, having your money work for you, getting paid in your sleep, whether it's,
Right.
print sales, whether it's YouTube
Gonna get you
views.
there.
And so, yeah, it's like systems and organization. Like my 4 words, it was focus, clarity, incremental growth, and discipline. And so, I am working on all of them. Like, I'm
Yes.
still not as focused as I want to be, but things are now becoming more clear. I feel like I'm getting better at discipline, whether it's sleep patterns. She got vitamins and supplements, and we eating differently. All
Listen, we gonna keep y'all around and keep you working.
Nah, she
Long time.
yeah, like we'll be. I'll be talking with some friends sometimes, and I'm like, I guess she want me to live longer, man. She got me. She want me to go to the doctor
have a nice
again.
long life.
Yeah. She want me to, be around. So I think all that stuff kind of pours into success.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let me hit you with like some real quick.
Rapid fire.
Yeah. All right,
Let's
so-
go. Pew, 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 pew.
Who said I love you first?
Ooh, I don't know. Who did say it first?
I think I'm a G, so I probably didn't say
Maybe I did say. I mean, it's been so long ago. I think it was. I probably said it, and then I
Say
think it was
say it.
and then it was
Tap out.
reciprocated.
It was you.
Yeah, I said it first, but it wasn't like she said, "Thank you." Like it was. It was reciprocated. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I love you. I love you too. All right, bet we love each other.
All right, so y'all been doing this for a long time. Like y'all been in this relationship for a
Yes.
while. What's the pettiest argument you had? Yeah, I feel like it's hard to, like, I felt like if we were asked that question, it would be like hard to come up with an answer.
So I got
Let's
one.
talk about a couple. Just what is the most trivial thing, and just throw it out there, and I'll try to think of one. picking up stuff off the floor,
Yeah, that's definitely
walking
hilarious.
past stuff in the house that needs to
Yeah.
be done.
I think that's hilarious. It really, I think it probably has a lot to do with like cleaning and stuff, because I have a lot of pet peeves, you know.
I got a feeling like I could be grouped into with the kids with something she could say.
Yeah, I think I would say probably the most trivial argument we may have had.
Oh, probably like stealing combs or something.
Yeah.
Like, and why y'all using? I don't like when y'all use my brush. Cause y'all got long hair. Don't leave your long hairs in my brush.
Yeah, stuff like small stuff like that.
Nah,
yeah.
cause she'll who left this little sip in the jug? Who left? Why is this only this little?
Yeah.
Cause we get like pull it straight
Relatable.
out the fridge.
Yeah.
So
Who's supposed to drink this?
all right, what's yours?
Oh, gotta be shaving in the shower and just leaving it.
I mean,
Gotta
it's
be.
gonna go. It's gonna go.
Or he'll.
Down the drain.
So when the kids like eat all the bags of chips down to nothing, he puts them all out on the counter, knowing
Lord.
they're gonna look at him and be like,
No.
"There's nothing left in there. I'm not eating them." So then they just sit there for days because they're still not gonna eat them. They know why they
But
left
it's
them.
like
There's nothing in
it's
it.
like 3 bags of cookies.
Yeah.
It's a Oreo box. It's Chips Ahoy.
You don't have one left to eat.
Man.
Somebody gonna have to eat it.
Hilarious.
You don't
He
want-
puts it on the counter. I'm like, that's not gonna solve.
Yeah.
All right.
this issue.
Who gives the better pep talks?
I think I get the better.
You give the better pep talks?
Would you agree?
I think it's probably about even.
Okay. All right.
I don't think so.
I think it's even.
All right. If your relationship was a song, what would the title be?
I feel like Genuine is like playing in my head right now. My whole life has changed
Yeah, differences.
since you
It's actually pretty good.
came.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Okay. I was about to say, ain't none of your friends' business.
That used to be one of the things.
Right,
Okay,
right,
that's stage one. That's stage one.
Yeah, I think it is differences.
All right.
That's actually good.
So we talked for a long time.
Yeah.
We gonna get into theirs in a sec. Please tune in, like, subscribe. You can comment. I know, relationship couples, y'all got
Yeah.
different things y'all want to
Listen.
say. Give us some advice. Give us some more
put
questions.
some things in the chat.
Yeah,
We want to know what. Leave us some comments.
all of that.
Tell us your pettiest argument because we want to know too. We
Bro,
want
you
to be
have some
petty
good-
right with
You
you.
have some good questions though.
You
man.
had
I'm
great
happy.
Yeah,
questions,
man.
Kev.
You had me thinking like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
All right.